probably hate yourself even more than you hate everything else. That's why you shoot H.
And I don't blame you. You're a pretty hateful person.
Yeah, pretty hateful.
So that's it, is it? That's the therapy. Yeah. That's the magic medicine that's going to make us all work.
Right.
Well, I'm glad to have seen it, but I don't think I'd like to take part.
Well, then,
in it. So, thank you very much.
You bitches. Don't go where you guys go.
Well, I don't have to tell you what remarkable progress you've made, Magda. Do you still miss the support drugs?
From time to time.
Yeah. Well, you will. It takes a while.
So they tell me.
Now, what I wanted to see you about. See, I think it's time you started to relate to the outside world again.
In what way?
Well, your family. You haven't written or had a visit since you've been, have you?
I'm divorcing my husband, and I don't want to see my father.
Well, there's your mother and your sister.
I didn't want them to see me the way I was.
Well, things are different now, aren't they? See, I think I know how you feel. You've achieved a balance, and you don't want to upset it, right?
Something like that.
Well, you're going to have to test the waters sometime, and I think that a visit might be the most painless way.
Okay, I'll write.
Good.
Oh, you couldn't lend an out-of-work girl a stamp, could you?
Don't tell Mrs. Armitage.
You're a brick dog.
Peter, there you are. This concerns you. Letter from Sir Charles. Heard about your interesting experiment. Note the carefully chosen word, experiment. In view of my lifelong interest, would like to see it in action, etc., etc.
Oh, that's simple. He can't. And it's taken us all this time to get the group to allow you to sit in just once.
Peter, he is chairman of the Board of Visitors.
You just have to talk to the girls, explain the man's power.
He could close you down.
Yeah. Why can't he stick to plucking his Harley Street pigeons? Now, today's the day, so we hold the session completely normally. Right. Now, at some point, he'll slip in, quite unobtrusively. Now, he'll slip in, quite unobtrusively, so just go on as if he wasn't there.
A bit difficult.
Hello, Magda. I'm just going through the drill for Sir Charles's visit.
Well, don't bother, because I won't be there.
Why?
Because it's all a great con, that's why. Like I always said, we're not really getting any better.
yes, we are.
I just had my eyes open, that's all. We frig about in here, bearing our souls to each other like old guys around a campfire, while out there's the great big world with its jaws open, just waiting for us to get out.
Yesterday.
I was kidding myself yesterday. When we get out of here, we're going to have the same problems that we came in with.
no,
Nothing's changed. We need to wake up to it.
All right, let's talk it out. Come on, let's talk it out.
Talk it out. Hell, I want some Librium. No, that's up to the group. It's there to stuff the group. I'm out of the group. Anyway, after this morning, there won't be a group.
What do you mean?
I know that old Berkey's a right bastard, but at least he'll put a stop to this fairy tale. Now, do I get my Librium or do I start to scream?
No, Magda, don't give it to
Do I
her.
get it?
Tell Sister Baxter I authorize.
Oh, George.
No, all right, the rest of you. The officers will take you down. I'll be down in a minute. Now, come on, come on.
What's the point?
I was trying to tell you, she had a letter this morning. The father has beaten up the mother and sister again. They don't want to visit until they look presentable. I wish I had 5 minutes alone with that man.
Olive, there is no sense in going over old ground. Now drink your tea and let's take up from yesterday.
The tea's cold.
Now, look. Magda had some bad news from home. That's why she behaved the way she did.
We could all have had bad news from home. Anyway, I thought you'd made us strong enough to cope with that sort of thing. You obviously haven't.
No, I haven't done anything. You've done it all yourselves. And yes, I do believe that you are strong enough.
Doesn't
But
look like
Magda
it,
was
does it?
stronger than any of us, and look what's happened to her.
She wasn't, Jane.
Oh, shut
anyway,
up.
she wasn't with us for very long. She only seems strong. She isn't really.
Oh,
That's part of
here
her
comes little mother putting us all right again. Who do you think you are, darling Tainers? What's what anyway? It was only 6 weeks ago you was trying to do yourself.
That's a
in.
beastly thing
But
to say.
oh,
She's
shut
only
up.
trying to help
But
you.
we don't want her help and we don't need
You
it.
needed
right?
her help 2 weeks ago when you were dribbling on about your deprived childhood. She straightened you out then, Jane.
What do you know about a deprived childhood? You've never had your fat bottom in nothing but silk all your life.
I wasn't talking about me, you fool. I was talking about Emma.
Yes, of course you were. You'd talk about Emma all day long if you could, wouldn't you? Don't think we haven't noticed the way you look at her. You probably had a little darling like her at school too, didn't you? Well, why don't you ask to move in with her? Then you could be really cosy. Ah! Come on then, get it! Right
We ruined it. You shook us all up.
We had one of our blow-ups, the biggest ever. I bet he'll cancel it. And it was good. It was our only chance.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Boswell. Truly sorry. But I can only do my duty as I see it.
Come in. Excuse me, madam. It's Magda Selby. An urgent request to see the governor.
Oh, not now, Mrs. Armitage.
I think you should see her, madam.
Oh, very well. Sir Charles was just leaving.
No, if you don't mind, I think I'd like to stay. I know Selby. Worst kind of recidivist addict. I noticed she wasn't part of your experiment.
She was.
Shall I show her in, madam?
Yes. Yes, all right, Mrs. Armitage.
Thank you for seeing me, Governor. I hope I'm not being a bore.
Not at all, Magda. What can I do for you?
Well, before I made a mess of things, if I can put it that way, I was chief fashion buyer for a large group of stores.
Yes, I know.
Well, when I'm released, I mean to start again. I know it'll be hard, but I think I can make a comeback.
I'm sure you can.
Well, the trouble is, I've rather lost touch with developments. It's a fast-moving business, as you know. Would it be possible for me to have the trade papers and magazines sent here?
Oh, well, I'll see what I can do.
That would be very kind of you, Governor. There'd be a tremendous help. Thank you. Sir Charles, I'm afraid I must have been an awful nuisance to you in the past. I do apologise.
Have you been taking part in this experiment?
Experiment? Oh, you mean the group therapy? Oh, yes, indeed. I don't know what I'd do without it now. I've never been more wrong about anything in my entire life.
How wrong?
Well, it sometimes gets rather violent, and I thought that was bad at first. But then I realised that it was healthy. You see, part of an addict's problem is that she turns her violence in on herself. Letting it out harmlessly is a great release. But here's me telling you, one of the most distinguished authorities in Europe.
Well, we can all learn, you know?
It's a wonderful technique, Sir Charles, and we're all very grateful. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Spades, spades.
We'll have another trumps.